It is September 1st, 1944, a sweltering, humid night in Mattoon, Illinois. Inside a modest one-story home, Aline Carney is putting her daughter to bed next to an open bedroom window. A breeze drifts in. At first, it smells like sweet, delicate flowers from the garden. But within seconds, that sweetness turns sickly and chemically thick. Aline tries to sit up, but she can't. A terrifying numbness sprints through her limbs. Her legs are completely paralyzed. An hour and a half later, her husband returns from his late shift. He pulls into the driveway and catches a fleeting glimpse of a tall, thin figure, dressed in dark clothing, standing right outside that bedroom window. He gives chase, but the shadow vanishes into the pitch-black Midwestern night. Over the next 12 days, 33 people across this quiet town would report being struck down by the exact same invisible, sweet-smelling fog. A single localized attack at an open window acted as a catalyst, plunging an entire American town into a state of total, gripping paralysis. If you open a modern college textbook on abnormal psychology, you will likely find a chapter dedicated to Mattoon. It remains officially classified as one of the first scientifically documented cases of mass hysteria in United States history. At the height of the panic, the local police chief held a press conference to dismiss the idea of an attacker. He claimed that shifting winds at night were simply carrying industrial fumes from local war plants through open residential windows. But on the porch of the Cordes home, investigators found a well-used skeleton key and a tube of lipstick left in the dirt. Nearby, a white cloth sat on the screen door. When Beulah Cordes picked it up and caught the scent, her throat began to burn and her face immediately started to swell. A mind under pressure can make your legs feel heavy or your breath shallow, but it cannot make your skin puff up or drop a physical skeleton key in your yard. The hysteria theory fails to account for the tangible traces left behind in the grass. To understand the hysteria theory, we must look at the crushing pressures suffocating Mattoon in 1944. The town's young men were fighting on the front lines, and the community was drowning in the collective dread of a world at war. The local atmosphere was highly volatile. Radios constantly broadcasted warnings about Nazi chemical weapons, and newspapers had just reported that a German prisoner of war had escaped from a camp near Peoria. The local newspaper provided the critical spark. The Daily Journal-Gazette ran sensational, uncritical articles treating the anesthetic prowler as a confirmed fact, feeding the rumors directly to a terrified public. Primed for disaster, terrified residents began misidentifying ordinary household scents, like spilled nail polish or animal odors, as the phantom gas. The moment they smelled it, their minds triggered very real, debilitating weakness. Collective anxiety, when catalyzed by irresponsible media coverage, has the power to manifest as a contagious, paralyzing illness. But there is a historical precedent that complicates the purely psychological argument. Exactly 10 years earlier, in 1933, a nearly identical gas prowler terrorized the rural mountain valleys of Virginia. The details connecting the two events are highly specific: a sweet, paralyzing gas, a tall figure in dark clothing, and bizarre female footprints left right at the points of entry. Mattoon had a prime local suspect, Farley Llewellyn. He was a brilliant chemistry student from the University of Illinois who had been ostracized and closeted in a deeply conservative town. Llewellyn possessed a private laboratory and the expertise to synthesize highly volatile chemicals, like nitromethane, that cause severe reactions but dissipate without leaving a trace. Farley fit the silhouette Bert Kearney chased from his window, and the majority of attacks occurred within a short distance of his home. But when police placed him under constant surveillance, the gas attacks continued. Did Llewellyn have an accomplice, or did his initial strikes spawn a self-replicating phantom fueled by the town's own paranoia? This map reveals a more complex truth. Both theories likely happened at once. A genuine attacker initiated the first few strikes, but the town's mass hysteria acted as a multiplier, expanding a handful of real assaults into dozens of false alarms. The mad gasser didn't need to attack 33 homes. He only had to attack a few. After that, the panicked community took over the job of terrorizing itself. Armed vigilante chasers began patrolling the dark neighborhoods, and terrified citizens barricaded themselves inside. The panic became so acute that one woman accidentally fired a shotgun blast through her own living room wall. State health officials later admitted that while many reports were purely psychological, a real gas maniac did exist amidst the noise of the town's breakdown. A few isolated, genuine acts of trauma can successfully weaponize a vulnerable community's mind against itself. No one was ever arrested. The mad gasser vanished back into the shadows of 1944, leaving behind only the lingering scent of sweet perfume and a town forever changed. The legacy of Mattoon lies in the terrifyingly thin screen door of the human mind. It serves as a reminder of how quickly the barrier between perceived safety and collective terror can dissolve. In a community already wound tight by the dread of war, fear becomes its own self-replicating chemical. Once that panic is let inside, it proves far more toxic than any vapor drifting through an open window.